How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today's done Daf Yud Zayin, Daf 17 of Masechta Sotah, friends. Well, friends, so today we're going to learn two Mishnayos. The first Mishnah talks about what exactly, right? We've talked about that the name of God is going to be erased in the waters. So how does that work? We just write Shem Hashem and erase it in the water. So we're going to see a machlokes in the first Mishnah between the Tanna Kama, Reb Meir, Reb Yossi, and Reb Yehuda about what exactly you're writing on the parchment, which then actually leads to the next Mishnah, which is what exactly are you writing it on? Parchment, other things, what kind of ink are you using? So that's really going to be the focus of today's daf. Very interesting stuff. I'm going to babble you on 1 second. That was a babble on. Let's get started. So, very, very interesting stuff. I feel like we should even maybe even start by looking at the psukim. Does that make sense? Maybe. There's a few psukim over here. Let's maybe read them. I mean, I have the Oz V'Hadar Gemara that has the psukim. I don't know if you have the psukim there or not. If not, just stay with me. But these psukim say, V'shbiya oisa akoyin v'omer la'isha Im lo shochav ish oisach v'im lo sotis tuma tachas ishech hinokim imei amorim ha'ele. Okay, basically it's these psukim that describe what exactly the kohen tells her and what she commits to. So it says the kohen makes her swear, and if you didn't have this affair, then you have nothing to worry about kisotis. But if you did have an affair, tachas ishech v'chinitmes v'yiten ish boch es shchavtum ibalade ishech v'shbiya kohen es hoisha b'shvua sa'ala v'omer ha'koyin lo isha yitin Hashem oisach lolav l'shvua b'seich amech b'seis Hashem es yuech nofeles v'es bitnech tzava uv'amayim ha'ma'orim ha'ele b'mayayich latzvos betem v'lan pil yorich v'omra hoisha amin amin. So that's basically, I think that was 4 psukim that describe what the kohen says to her and what she commits to and what's going to happen if she had an affair and what the curse is, etc. So now the discussion today is about which parts of those psukim get written and dissolved in water. All of it, some of it, how much, how little. So now, so says the Mishnah, Balu lichtov es Megillah. So when they come now to write down these passages that they're going to dissolve in the water, so which parts of these psukim that I just read does he read? Does he write? So now here's the opinion of the Tanna Kama, which is Reb Meir. That, well, if you did not have an affair, well then you have nothing to worry about. Now that implies, but if you did have an affair, then you do have something to worry about. So that gets included. As well as the next pasuk that says, and if you did have an affair, and he skips, he does not write that the kohen makes her swear, because that's just technical stuff. It doesn't actually talk about the curse or whatever. It just says some, technical behind the scene, the Facebook meta kind of things, which is like, okay, and now the kohen needs to make her swear, but that doesn't need to be written down. He also writes down how God is going to make you, I think the point is that people are going to say, like, you don't want to be like that person. And then these waters are going to come and you can explode. And he doesn't write, and then she says, yes, amin, amin. That you don't have to write again. That's some kind of Facebook meta kind of stuff. So basically you write down anything related to like the actual consequences. Rabbi Yossi Omer lo haya mafsik. Rabbi Yossi says, look, once you start writing the stuff from im lo shochav ish osach v'im lo sotis, etc., you write all of the rest of it. You're not going to stop. Like, for example, when it says v'shbiya kohen es isha, that would be included, whereas the Tanna Kama would say that was skipped. Rabbi Yossi would say, no, once you start writing, you write until the end. No breaks. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda is the most skeletal of them. He writes the least. Kol atzmin akosiv ella, all he writes is Yitin Hashem osach le'alav l'shvua uvo'amayim ha'me'orim mo'ele b'me'ayich Veno kosev v'amra isha amin amin. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, basically Rabbi Yehuda is saying the same thing as Tanakam Rav Meir. The only thing that he leaves out, the additional thing that Rabbi Yehuda leaves out that Rav Meir includes, is the first part about that if you didn't have an affair, you'll be all right, which implies that if you did have an affair, then there's going to be problems. So whereas Rav Meir includes that, Rabbi Yehuda leaves that out. Now, says the Gemara, b'maiko mifligei, what is the source or the root of the basis of the machloikas? B'hai krok mifligei, they are arguing about the following pasuk. That I think it's the very next pasuk says, v'chosov es ha'olos ha'ele hakoyin b'sefer. That all those verses that we just read, that discuss the curses, the kohen writes these curses on parchment, and then that gets dissolved in the water. So Reb Meir Savar, so if Meir understands the pasuk, right? It says because of es ha'olos ha'elos. Now Reb Meir says olos is olos mamish. So when it says olos, that the curses, that's referring to the curses themselves, right? For example, Yitin Hashem osach la'olav l'shvu b'soch ames, etc. Like the actual curses. Ha-alos, now there's an extra hey though. It doesn't just say alos, it says ha-alos. That also comes to include the rabbos klalos abos machmos brachos, right? To include the implied curses that come from the implication of the brachos, right? So, for example, we said v'shpia kohenes ve'amar el isha im lo shachav ish osach v'im lo satis tumatachas isha chinaki mimei amor mamor ma'ele, right? That if you didn't have this affair, then you'll be clean, you'll be all good. Implying though that if you did have an affair, then you won't be good. So the extra hey in ha'alos means that we even include that in the writing as well. Now eile nemute klalos sheb Mishnah Torah. So when it says right ha'alos ha'eile, so eile is saying these curses are written, but don't also write down curses from like Parshas Kisavo and Parshas Bechukosai, that those are, other curses about if you don't follow the Eibishter. No, we're only writing down the curses specific to the Sotah, not any other curses. Ha-ele, and the extra hey, is limute tzavos v'kabalos amen. Right, to exclude, the kohen makes her swear, and she says amen, all this kind of Facebook meta stuff that isn't specific, to the actual curses. So then, right, those kind of Facebook meta things are excluded as well. Rabbi Yossi kulu kidiko amart. Now Rabbi Yossi says, everything that you said plus es l'rabos tzavos v'kabalos, but when it says es ha'olos ha'eles, so the es comes to include also the Facebook meta stuff. So like the kohen making her swear and her accepting it and saying amen, amen, that all gets included as well because of the es comes to include that. Reb Meir, but the Tanakama, Reb Meir, esim lo darish, he doesn't learn out es to include the Facebook meta things. Fine. Now Rabbi Yehuda, kulu b'mi'utei darish luhu. Now Rabbi Yehuda basically learns it similar to the Tanakama, but he says, well, basically they're all mi'uts, right? Meaning olos comes to include the curses, everything else is excluding, right? Olos mamish, right? So when it says olos, it's the curses, right? The things that are going to happen to her. Ha-olos, when it says the hey of ha-olos, lim'ute klalos abos machmas brachos. So the hey excludes the implied curses, right? That if you didn't have an affair, then you'll be all good. Implying that if you did have an affair, then you're gonna have problems. You leave that out. Eile limute klalos of Mishnah Torah. Eile, right? Saying you write down these curses, but not the curses in Kisavo and in Bechukosai. Ha'ele limuta tzavos v'kabalos, and the extra hey of ha'ele excludes, the Facebook meta stuff that the kohen makes her swear, and she says amen, that stuff is left out. Okay, technical question according to a mayor. Now according to a mayor, right? Alos is curses. Ha-alos is coming to include the implied curses. Then we say Eile comes to exclude Mishnah Torah, and Ha-Eile also comes to exclude the Facebook Meta stuff. So how come the first Hey is coming to include the implied curses, and the second Hey is coming to exclude the Facebook Meta stuff? Is Hey an inclusive thing, or is it an exclusive thing? So, and for the Gemara, Hey Dima'id. Wait, did I? Hi So, and for the Gemara, Hey Degabe. Sorry if I confused you, but I'm kind of where I left off. Hey Degabe de ribuya ribuyahi. Hey Degabe de miuta miuta. That the Hey, which is ha-alos, well, alos is coming to include the curses, so Hey is coming to include the implied curses. Eile is coming to exclude Mishnah Torah, so Ha-Eile is coming to exclude the Facebook Meta stuff. So basically, if the Hey was being attached to an inclusive word, so it's inclusive. If it's being attached to an exclusive word, then it's exclusive. But wait a second. How could Reb Meir say that we're including the implied curses? I thought that Reb Meir doesn't hold of implications of that. From the implication of no, you can learn yes. So Reb Tanchum hinok iksiv. Well, enochinami, but in this particular case, right? It says by the Sotah that if you didn't have an affair, so hinaki, which implies though, but if not chinaki, you'll be sort of strangled and die. So it was just too obvious. So here you can include it. One second, I'm hearing like talking in the background. Let me just confirm so that at least I can acknowledge it. Wow, it was actually my own father. Yeah, I stopped the recording to figure out who's making noise. It was my own father who's making noise. Alright. I called him. I asked him to keep it down, but he didn't pick up. I said, but he's done. I don't know. Whoever he was talking to, I guess, moved on with his life. My father moved on with his life. So we're going to move on with our lives. So now we get to some very, very cute little vorts. I mean, I don't know if you would say cute little vorts about the Gemara, about Rabbi Akiva and Rava, but I think that you'll see what I mean when we read them. If you didn't know that they were actually Gemaras and Rabbi Akiva and Rava, you might imagine some guy at a shul kiddush with herring and a cracker and a schnapps telling you a cute little vort. So you ready? So Darish Rabbi Akiva darshan ish v'isha. That if you look at the word ish, I'm telling you, this is mamish like a New York shul kiddush herring and schnapps cute little thing. I'm telling you, you can just imagine it. You're at the kiddush, some guy's got a black hat, mamish has got a mouthful of herring and a cracker and a schnapps in another hand, and he's telling you this little cute thing. Ish ve'isha, that the word ish and isha, so if you look, the word ish is aleph yud shin, and isha is, I'm telling you, this is mamash straight out of a New York kiddush. So an isha is aleph shin hey. So if you look, both of them are ish, right? Aleph and shin, but the ish has a yud in it, and Isha has a Hey in it, which is Yud Hey, which is God's name. So, Zachu Shechina Benein, if there's Shalom Bayis, so then there's Yud Hey, there's Shechina with the man and the woman, Lo Zachu, but if they don't merit Eish Ochalten, then a fire burns them. I feel like at the Shul Kiddush, they would probably leave out the fire burns them. Maybe they would say a little bit differently, like, Rachmana litzlan, then it's not good, but if there's shalom bias, then there's God, the Eibishter is with them. I'm telling you, straight out of a shul kiddush, or maybe I don't know. It's funny, Rabbi Akiva. I wouldn't think of Rabbi Akiva, but it's a Gemara. It's different. It's not the guy with the black cap with his mouth full of herring. It's Rabbi Akiva and schnapps. You ready for the next one? I'm sorry. V'deisha adifa mideish. And by the woman it's starker because it's Isha, the Aleph and the Shin are next to each other, whereas by the Ish, the Yud is breaking them up. By the Isha, it's Aleph Shin and then the Hey. So I guess it's, I don't know what that means exactly, but it's starker. Okay. Omar Rovin, now says Rovin, Pneima Omer Tere have offer Sotah. How come the Torah says that there's dirt with the Sotah water? Zochsa, well, if she merits, then she's innocent. Yotze mimeno ben kavram avinu. Well, then she'll have a child like Avram Avinu. Dichsiv, as the pasuk says, Dichsiv be offer va'efer, that Anochi offer va'efer. Lo zochsa tachsa the offer. But if she doesn't merit, if she had an affair, so then she will die and go back to the dirt. Darish Ravid expounded, B'schar she'omer Avram Avinu v'anochi offer va'efer, as reward for Abraham saying that I am dust and ashes. Zochubon of Lebeis mitzvahs, his children merited 2 mitzvahs. Efer paraduma ve'offer Sotah. Va'ika nami offer kisei adam. What about the blood, the dirt of the kisei adam? Hosam hechsher mitzvah ika hanoah leka. Well, when it comes to kisei adam, after you slaughter a bird or a beast, so then you have to cover the dirt with blood. Okay, beseder, fine. So yeah, you have to do it as part of the mitzvah. But when it comes to Efer Paraduma, there's real value, like there's added value to the person that becomes pure. Right? When it comes to Sotah also, right? Hopefully she's innocent and then she clears her name, she has children. So there's actual value, right? Benefit, but when it comes to Kisei Adam, it's just a technicality. Dorash Rave says, Rave b'schar she'omer Avraham Avinu im yichud v'atzrichnal, says Rave that in reward for Avraham Avinu said that he doesn't want to take gunished from Avimelech, that or is it Malkitzedek. So he says, I don't want to take a shoe thread or a strap or garnished. Zachu ban of the Beis mitzvahs, so his children merited 2 mitzvahs. Chut shel tcheles, the thread of tcheles and the tzitzis, v'ritzua shel tefillin, and the straps, the phylacteries of tefillin. Bishlam ritzua shel tefillin. So I understand the sort of hanoah that we get from the ritzua shel tefillin. The Chesiv, the pasuk says, "V'ra'u chol amei haaretz ki shem Hashem nikra alecha," that the nations of the world will see that the name of God is called upon you and they will fear you. V'tanya, we learned by Rabbi Eliezer Agol Omer, Elu tefillin sheberosh. This is a tefillin sheberosh. So we see that there's added value in tefillin, that it's like this, you wear tefillin and it's and you will be feared. Elchut shel tcheles ma'hi. What is this thread of tcheles? What's the added value by tzitzis? The Tanya is learned by so Rabbi Meir Omer. Rabbi Meir would say manishtana. Wow, manishtana. On Pesach, we're learning about the Manishtana. Although I don't know, when you hear this, is it still going to be Pesach when we learn this stuff? I don't know. But Manishtana, Tcheles Mikol Mine Tzivonin. How come Davka the tzitzis are blue? Mipneisha Tcheles Doim Elayom, because the Tcheles is similar to the sea. V'yom Dom Rakia, and the sea is similar to the heavens. V'Rakia Dom Lechisei Kovid, and the heavens is similar to the throne of God. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, "Vayiru es Eloke Yisrael v'sachas raglav k'mais livnas hasapir chetzem hashamayim lator," that they looked up at the sky, at the heavens, and it was like livnas hasapir. And it says, "Kimari evan sapir d'mus kisei," that the kisei covered is like an evan sapir. So we see that if you look at the tcheles of the tzitzis, and it's similar to the sea, which is similar to the heavens, which is similar to the kisei covered. So by wearing tzitzis, then it's like you are greeting God, and therefore it's like you are. It says it's like you're receiving the face of God. So that's what's the added value Darton. Gewaldig. Taka Shivi Keller has a niggin with these words. Tcheles dorme layom, yom dorme lerakia, etc. Oh, so now we get up to a new Mishnah. Eno kosev lo ala luach v'lo ala nir. So these psukim that we just discussed, right, that you write down the Parsha Sotah, so he doesn't write it on wood, he doesn't write it on paper, okay, we're talking about grass paper, okay, fine, v'lo al hadiftera, not on unprocessed hides, or not fully processed hides, ela ala Megillah, you write it on cloth. Shnei Amar, the pasuk says, b'sefer, you write it on a sefer, ve'eno kosev lo b'kumkum v'lo b'kankantom v'lo b'chol dover sheroshim, you don't write it with kumkum, but kumus or kankantom. Kumkum is something else. You don't write it with kumus or kankantom or anything that makes an impression in the cloth. El b'dio, you write it with dio ink, which is what you use for Sefer Torah. Shneimar umacha ksav sheyachol limchos, that it needs to be writing that could be dissolved, that could be dissolved. You soak it and it goes away. That if you write the Megillah for the Sotah at night, no good. My time akom aser Torah Torah, make exer shava of Torah. Ksivacha ve'asa la akoyin is called Torah azos. It says over here that the Kohen does this Torah by the Sotah. It says based on the Torah. Is that by Zakin Mamri? I feel like. Anyways, so it says Torah and it says Mishpat. Ma Mishpat bayom af Megillah Sotah b'yom. Just like Mishpat is during the day. So from the Gzeir Shava of Torah, so we say that Sotah is also davka done during the day. Kosva l'mafreya psula. If you write it out of order, right? So if you write, what does Rashi say? Right, Yerech v'lanpil beten litzbos. Right, if you write the words out of order, so then psula. Tichsiv v'chosav v'sa'alos ha'eile ki dichsiv. You have to write them exactly as they're written. If you write this before she receives upon herself accepts upon herself the vow, the oath, psula. Then he makes you take an oath and then afterwards they write it. Kosve geres psula. But if you write it as like a letter without sirtut, right? Like when you write Sefer Torah, you have to write sirtut. You have to etch the lines in. So if you do that, if you don't etch the lines in by the Sotah, so it's no good. But Sefer Amar Achmona, because it says Basefer, it has to be like a Sefer, and like a Sefer Torah, for example, there's sirtut. So Kosval Shnei Dapin Psula. If you write it on separate parchments and connect them, it doesn't work. It has to be one parchment. Sefer Echad Amar Achmona v'lo Shnaim. Dafka one Sefer, not two. V'Shnaim v'lo Shlosha, not two or three. Sfarim. I didn't read that well. Sefer Echad Amar Achmona v'lo Shnaim v'Shlosha Sfarim. Fine. Kosav Os Achas Umochak Os Achas. I'm sorry. Kosav Os Achas Umochak Os Achas v'Chosav Os Achas Umochak Os Achas. Psula. Right. If you write a letter and then erase it, and then another letter and erase that. Psula d'chsiva asula akoyin es kol ha'torah. You have to write the whole parsha, and then you soak it all in water, and it all dissolves at once. You don't just write one letter, dissolve it, another letter, dissolve it. Friends, that was Av Yud Zayin of Masechta Sotah. Very interesting daf. We saw machlokas between Reb Meir, Reb Yossi, and Reb Yehuda about how much of what do you write, right? When we say that you would dissolve the name of God in water, so what exactly is it? Just the name of God? Is it verses? So we saw it's a machlokas between Reb Meir, Reb Yossi, and Reb Yehuda. Which verses exactly do you write in there? We saw some interesting vorts, and then we talked about that the Sotah that the parsha of the Sotah needs to be written on a klaf with sirtut, with lines etched in, and with dio. Friends, that was Daf Yud Zayin, Masechta Sotah. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.